Aloha Aries, this is your April 2016 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com. For anyone who has their Ascendant, Sun or Moon in Aries, and we're shooting from beautiful Maui in Hawaii. Hopefully you enjoy the view as well. So this month is very important for you, Aries. Why is that? Because Mars, the planet that rules Aries, whether it's your Ascendant in Aries, whether it's your Moon or Sun, Mars becomes a very important planet for you because it rules Aries. And Mars is starting to turn retrograde now in April. And we'll continue that to around July, I think, approximately. So April, from middle of April, May, June, for about 2.5, 3 months almost, your planet is moving backwards, as seen from the Earth. So what does it mean for you, Aries? Well, something that you started, something from the past that you've been working on, some project, you might have to go back and revise it. You might have to go a few times over it. You might have to, or something from the past can come to the surface for your Aries, can again come back into your life to be fixed, to be improved, to be in some way redone better, to be in some way made extra efforts with. So usually, for example, for me, how I see it, I'm also Aries. I see that the project that I started working on a year ago, I would really have to go deep in it and put a lot of energy on it for the next few months. I don't know how it's going to manifest for you personally. For every Aries will be in a different way, but something from the past is coming to be done, repeated, redone a few times. And Mars is the planet of exerting one's willpower. Mars is the planet that requires, and when it turns retrograde, a planet that turns retrograde always requires extra effort in order to fulfill what you're doing, in order to fulfill usually some project, some initiative that you've been doing, something that you've been charging towards. But now when Mars is moving backwards, you'll have to slow down a bit, first of all, because some problems will come to the surface. Some things that are not exactly proper, that you have not looked at, you'll have to redo them a few times. When a planet moves retrograde, it moves 3 times over the same area of the horoscope. So it means like 3 times the amount of effort you have to put. But you know, retrograde planets are always more difficult. They demand a lot more energy, a lot more willpower to put, a lot more focus, a lot more pressure, and personal involvement and personal efforts, but at the same time they're 3 times more fruitful. The results that a retrograde planet with its retrograde period can give can continue for much longer period after that. The results and the fruits of that planet and the efforts that you've made, you're not going to be able to see them while Mars is still retrograde in April, in May, in June, but from July onward sorry, when Mars starts moving direct again, you'll be able for the 3rd time to tackle that issue. You'll be able to charge again ahead with full speed and to complete it and to get much more lasting results. But the next 2-3 months, extra exertion, extra willpower, extra demand for efforts on your side, which is Mars, extra challenges as well, because Mars is naturally the planet of challenges that appear. But these challenges are to strengthen your own willpower, to strengthen your own resolve and ability to solve problems. It's to strengthen your inner strength as well, you know, and willpower on the whole. So, for example, you might double your efforts in some physical exercise, because Mars naturally rules physical exercise. Or you might have to double your efforts in solving some kind of a problem, or in solving some kind of a contention or argument, for example. And as they say, the ancient books say, the god of war, you should not start a war when the god of war is moving retrograde, because you're going to lose that war. So what does it mean? From April onwards, Aries, for a few months, don't start suing people, for example. You're more likely to lose. But if you're being sued, you can defend yourself, and you have more of a chance of winning because you are not the aggressor yourself. Or don't start trying some competition, for example, competing with someone, with business competition or whatever. Because again, if you're trying to challenge someone, you're starting the war, you're starting the contention, you're more likely to lose again. But if you're protecting yourself, if you're defending yourself, you have the upper hand. because a retrograde planet, Mars, always, most cases, works in help of the one that is being attacked rather than the one who is doing the attack, who is starting the war, so to speak. And so you might have to slow down a bit, research different options, research how you can improve certain project of yours, research alternatives of fixing certain matters in regards to something you're doing already. And then from July onwards, when Mars starts moving onwards, forwards again, you will again take the initiative and are able to complete that project to fruition, to completion. But for a few months it might get extra hard, extra difficult, extra efforts. But again, remember, the results are longer lasting and more fruitful, 3 times more fruitful. But initially, while the planet, your planet Mars, is moving retrograde, it might feel extra frustrating, you know, because of the efforts, the more efforts and more of a fight you have to put there. Also, some kind of if there was some conflict that you've put under the carpet, it can come to the surface now to be resolved starting from April onwards. But Mars in particular is becoming retrograde in your 9th house, especially in April, May until June approximately. So for a month and a half, a couple of months, April and May, your 5th house is being activated with this retrograde movement. Sorry, your 9th house. And the 9th house deals with, for example, having to sort out matters of travel. Maybe having to do some extra efforts and extra willpower in regards to sorting documents for traveling abroad, or some journey abroad, or something to do with relocation, or some dealings with foreigners, because 9th house rules people that are different than us. Foreigners, culturally different, people from different hierarchical positions, people from different social strata and classes that you might have to be being much more involved with, putting much more extra efforts and willpower on your side, and developing your, how do I say, more assertiveness there, and more using your logical, strategic approach as well, because Mars is the most strategic, like Mars is the planet of the strategist, of the general that plans his movements. So you have to, maybe something to do with foreign countries, with travel, with relocations of sort, or 9th house, you might have to exert extra effort, something to do with higher education, because this is what the 9th house rules. For example, having to work extra hard, or having to really go down deep and dirty, as they say, in regards to taking some exams, or in regards to getting accepted to some education, or to pre-qualifications. 9th house rules you're being, for example, you realizing that you need to improve your knowledge in some sphere, or to develop a different sphere in regards to your career, so have to take certain classes, for example, and put extra effort in that pre-qualification. 9th house also rules people that are your mentors, like advisors, mentors, father figures, teacher figures. So there might be some complications, or even a little bit like contention or stress that happens between you and such a father figure. For example, I remember when I had Mars retrograde in the 9th house from my ascendant, I had more of a fight with my dad. My dad was going through a difficult time. He was more angry around that time, and it was impacting our relationship as well. And when the planet turned direct, we managed to sort those problems. But for a little bit, those can intensify if you're having problems with mentors, authority figures, you know, such kind of 9th house people, advisors. Okay, 9th house is also your belief systems. You might have to be defending for some reason your belief systems. You might have to be presenting some idea of yours to others, trying to excite them, and things might slow down around that time. And you might have to put extra efforts in order to be able to excite others about your beliefs, about your ideas, about presenting some long-term goal, for example, because the 9th house is the house of looking into the future, having a goal, focusing on it, and trying to excite others, or trying to keep your motivation up for that goal. So Mars will increase your drive in that direction, will increase your ambition in that direction, but at the same time will increase the circumstances which require you to fight more, or to prove to others or to yourself that this idea, that you're really dedicated, that you're really committed to that idea in some way. And then again, when Mars starts moving forwards again, it will, you'll be able to improve. You'll be able to make it happen and fulfill it. The ninth house also rules, let's see, and then Mars goes into your 8th house, retrograde, but that comes towards June. So then you have to put this extra fight in regards to 8th house matters, arranging finances, mutual finances, arranging extra income that depends not only on you, but depends from other people, say getting resources from others. So people who are in banking, who are in equity, taking care of other people's money, in insurance, people who are in some way in inheritance, so people who are working in some careers which are connected to dealing with other people's money and resources, they'll have a bit more of a fight and a bit more of a struggle when Mars goes into the 8th house in the spring, basically towards May and June. But again, those extra efforts will pay off handsomely if you're really persistent and if you put your drive and your will there. And finding out new resources and increasing your finances through cooperating with others or using others' resources in some way. But there is a bit of a push and a bit of a stress, and especially because Mars gets retrograde now in April, very close to Saturn, which is the planet of reiteration, which is the planet of again of making something over and over till you get it hard. And there might be, because Mars is so close to Saturn when it retrogrades, you might feel in April that there is some pressure on you, like deadlines, for example, to perform better, to perform, and even maybe some authority figure that is being more demanding on you. Some outer or your inner authority figure, inner judge that is pushing you to be dissatisfied with the results and the efforts you're making, so you put extra effort, because Saturn has this kind of a very demanding influence, very criticizing and judgmental influence. But Saturn is the planet of mastering something, of doing it over and over and over again until you get it right. So I tell you that from April things slow down a little bit for us Aries, in a sense that in your impetus, don't rush crazily into things without researching it properly, without checking all the points. And this continues through May as well. So take it slowly, step by step. Don't rush into things, because you might have to do it a few times over and over again till you get it right. And if there is some pressure on you, outer or inner pressure, just be aware of that. Don't be too hard on yourself, but do it as best as you can with the best focus and diligence, and without hurrying up. And that's the best strategy for you Aries in April and in March. And actually till the middle of April, it's still a very good time to start new things, because the Sun is in your sign in Aries. So it's kind of a revitalization that happens for all Aries. When the Sun transits our sign, the sign of Aries, we're given an impetus for new action. Sorry. And we're given also the plan for the next 12 months. You get a lot of new ideas when the Sun transits your sign, whether it's your Sun or Ascendant sign. You still get the impact, the inspiration for new action when the Sun is there, because the Sun rules creative intelligence and divine inspiration. So when it transits our sign, Aries, we're given those divine inspirations and sparks of divine inspiration and creativity, which will be plans that we can implement over the next 12 months. So it's like, this is when the imprint for the next 12 months is being given to you. So make sure that till April, till the 20th of April approximately, while the Sun is still in Aries, you write down what new ideas you get, what new inspirations you get, because you have the chance over the next 12 months or even 2 years to implement them one by one. And again, I advise you can start those things, but slowly, because remember, your planet is starting to move backwards, so you might have to go over and over some past things to revise, or the details of something you're doing extra push. So don't rush, don't hurry, but you have the green light till around the 18th, 20th of April to start new things. But expect that they'll give you you'll only be able to see the results of those efforts towards after the retrograde period of Mars. So basically towards July and August, you're gonna start able to see the results of those new ideas that you got. So inspiration comes to you, but also the need for extra effort. And then Venus is in our sign Aries. Venus will make things a bit smoother and easier, because when Venus transits your sun sign or ascendant or moon sign, the person becomes more attractive. Even they naturally start taking more care about their physical appearance. I'm never someone, especially being an Aries, I'm never someone who would go to the spa or to do my hair much, or makeup, or my nails. They're usually quite chipped and bitten, but when Venus enters my sign, without even knowing it, without looking at the stars, I feel like either I get given a coupon to go to a spa, or I have to go and do myself look better because of some presentation, and I end up being in a beauty salon or taking more care of my physical appearance. And by the end of this period, I always appear more attractive. So Venus brings those issues of attractiveness, of beauty more to you, and often we start looking more glowing as well. The magnetic attraction of the person increases when Venus is in our sign. And Venus can also bring matters of love, of beauty, of self-indulgence and pleasure. Sensual and physical pleasures can become more prominent in April. So it's not only those more difficult things of Saturn that I mentioned, you having to make extra efforts, but Venus also gives you a sense of pleasure, of indulgence, of beauty, of being more magnetic and attracting people on your side. If you want to win others with your charm and diplomacy, when Venus transits your sun or ascendant or moon sign, you can be successful much easier than other times, because you're more likable. You know how to approach people in a gentle, Venusian, seductive way. And also for sexual or romantic relationships, you become more agreeable, more willing to make compromises in a sense. And this way you attract more pleasant relationship experiences. So even if you're single, there is a chance now in April you can meet someone or go on a pleasant date. And if you really want to find someone, now is the month you can look around for this happening while Venus is in your sign. And if it's not relationship that comes to you, then very likely it's going to be just more some experiences of indulging in good food, in beautiful views, in indulging the five senses, in pleasurable, in other pleasures, in something that you find enjoyable. Okay, so that's kind of the general picture for April, Aries. We're going to talk more about Mars retrograde in the May videos, and Mercury also becomes retrograde in May. So we're going to go in depth what it means, because your financial house will also have to be revised. Your finances will have to be revised in a big way from May approximately onwards. So now, thank you very much. Subscribe to my channel, or watch my Facebook, like my Facebook page, Astrolada, where I do daily horoscopes, where I do daily astrology updates, when I post all the new articles and information, when I recommend you amazing psychics and astrologers from around the world, and post so much interesting information. Just go to Facebook, like it, and follow all my daily posts. Thank you very much, Aries, and I will see you next month.